Hello, my beautiful nerds! That's right, you guys are beautiful, and if anyone says otherwise, those punks can take it up with me, because I know ninjutsu. Anyway, you're not here for my threats, you're here for a great show, and a great show we have. It all starts right now when we kick it to the news. History seems to be repeating itself in the world of DC. In the last episode of DC Universe's Titans, Jason Todd, the second Robin, fell off a building, but his fate is undetermined at this point. After the episode, a poll went up asking fans whether the Bat's new helper should live or die. This is not the first time young Jason's fate was left up to the fans. In the original comics, Joker had kidnapped the Boy Wonder, and the last page of the issue said, "Jason will die because the Joker wants revenge, but you can prevent this with a telephone call." There were then two numbers to call into, one for Jason to live and one for Jason to die. At the time, Jason was not appreciated by the fans, similar to how the fans feel about Damian as Robin now, so the decision came that Jason would die, leading to one of the best stories in comic history. Will history repeat itself on this show, or has the public opinion changed on Jason? We'll have to wait and find out. Audiences may be satisfied with how well Joaquin Phoenix turned into the clown prince of crime on the big screen, but a former Joker doesn't share the same feelings about the new Joker movie. Former Joker of Suicide Squad fame Jared Leto claims that he feels left out by the new Joker's success and that he was not given a fair shot. Which, yeah, is kind of a valued argument. It is a little unfair to compare the less than 10 minutes of screen time to a full 2 hours. But Leto is switching teams anyway, as he is slated to play Morbius the Living Vampire, a really cool and underrated Spider-Man villain that is, well, a vampire. It's Star Wars time, boys and girls. Disney Plus is just the gift that keeps on giving, even though it hasn't even been released yet. A couple weeks ago, we informed you that on Disney Plus was developing an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, but now we have some news from the other side of the coin. That's right, Obi-Wan's other half, Darth Maul, is going to receive his own series, which means we get more looks at that sweet, sweet saber of his. Well, it's October, it's getting cold, and it's time for Scary Movie 202.
Hello, I'm Bailey Ramsey, and welcome back to Scary Movie 202, where I'll be diving into different scary movies every week. This week we'll be looking at the 2010 film Insidious. This is about a family of 5 who had just moved into a new house. Dalton was playing with his new toy at the top of the stairs when a door creaked open and the kid he is went to check it out. He ended up falling off a ladder and hurting his head and leg. The next morning, Josh's dad went to wake him up but didn't get a response. They took him to the hospital and they had said he was in a coma. Dalton's mother, Renee, kept seeing people in her house and hearing people through the baby monitor. After she had seen too much, she begged Josh to move because she believed the house was haunted. After moving, Renee was getting things organized when she heard and saw a child laughing. She decided to follow him. He had gone into Dalton's room where he jumped out and scared Renee. She called a priest to come over to talk about what she had seen. Renee also told Josh that whatever she was seeing followed them. Josh's mom, Lorraine, was also telling Renee that she believed her. And then she jumped out of her seat because she saw something behind Josh. This is where Lorraine refers them to her good friend Elise to try and help them with their situation. I had trouble getting into this movie. I didn't start getting into it until Elise showed up. The beginning was too boring and not even scary. We know Dalton is in a coma, but where's his brother Foster and his baby sister when all of this stuff is happening? I'm pretty sure Foster's only in this movie like once, and then we don't know what happened to him. For all we know, he could be in a coma too. The baby's in the boring half, but Elise is over trying to get Dalton back into his body from his out-of-body experience. They act like Dalton's the only kid. If the kids were home, I don't know how the baby wouldn't have been crying and Foster wondering what the HE double hockey sticks is going on. They were screaming, things were being thrown, and the out-of-body experience did throw me for a loop. I love the added details of his drawings of his out-of-body experiences when he is sleeping. It makes his dad believe that it is real. I also like how when Josh was a kid, he could do the same thing, but Elise and his mom did their best to make him forget. The added touch of the old lady in the back of Josh's pictures when he was younger was very creepy. I don't understand how something like this can even be passed down. I hated the ending. Josh leaves his body to go find Dalton, they come back, but the old lady gets to his body before he did. The only reason we know this is because Elise took a picture and it showed the lady instead of Josh. I thought it was predictable. I also don't understand how they made 3 other movies, and according to IMDb, there is supposed to be a 5th one, and that is 5 too many. I could see how they would do a sequel, but how did they drag this out so long? This is the kind of movie I could fall asleep to. Also, I thought the demons could have been made a lot more scarier and creepy. The guy with the black and red on his face reminded me of the boogeyman from WWE. Those characters were cheesy, and I'm giving this movie 4 out of 10 Ooga Boogas. I wasn't amused or scared at all. It was honestly a piece of crap. And I know what you're thinking. Seriously? Do you think this is a piece of crap? This was such a good movie. Don't even say that is a good movie, because it wasn't. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Bailey Ramsey, and this has been Scary Movie 202. I'll catch you next week when we go over Gerald's Game.
And that's why I never watch documentaries about creepy little kids. John Wick 4 is coming soon enough, but John can't keep doing this forever. Who will give us our brutal, stylistic murder rides? Well, we have the answers to that. A female lead spin-off has been announced following the team of Russian ballerinas introduced in Chapter 3. That's about all we know at the moment, but let's not rush into this just yet. Let John's story come to a natural close, then we can worry about who can take a spin at becoming the next boogeyman. The John Wick series certainly isn't underrated, but let's hang out with Katie for a bit to find out what is.
Hey, I'm Hilary Duff from Lizzie McGuire, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Welcome back to Underrated. I'm Katie, and this week on Underrated, I'm going to take you on a trip down memory lane by talking to you about the movie Cadet Kelly. If you don't remember Cadet Kelly, let me refresh your memory. Cadet Kelly stars one of Disney Channel's gems, Hilary Duff. Kelly is an outgoing, free-spirited student having the time of her life in school when her mom tells her that she is getting married and Kelly will have to go to military academy, where her soon-to-be stepfather is the dean. Although this throws Kelly for a loop, she decides to do it since it'll make her mom happy. And on the first day, she meets Carla. Carla helps her learn the ropes of military academy. There's also a guy who catches her eye, but soon she realizes that not everybody is as nice as she thought they would be, and that's when she meets Captain Jennifer Stone, who also has feelings for the same guy Kelly does. Kelly tries to fit in, but it's harder than she thought it would be. She has to finish an obstacle course, but she doesn't have the strength. So Jennifer tells her not to leave until she completes it. But there also happens to be a dance that night. Once she finally completes it, she decides to run to the dance and tell Jennifer. But she's all muddy, and she gets Jennifer all muddy by falling into her. Kelly's stepfather asks to talk to her in his office, and after this talk, she realizes that she is not meant for this school. So she goes to tell her mom about it. But her mom tells her that she's going to be an older sister, so she decides to keep it in and to continue going to school. But when she gets back to school, she gets a citation by Jennifer, and she has to appear in cadet court, where they find her guilty of not following the school's rules. So her punishment is to take care of all the drill team's uniforms, and she actually enjoys the drill team, and she even tries out and makes it. Then she goes to a big competition and becomes teammates with her enemy Jennifer, and at the competition she receives second place, which is the best that school has done. This movie ends with Captain Stone and Kelly making amends and saluting their dean. I really like this movie. I always have. It's always been one of my favorites. And I think that's because of Hilary Duff, which is something that kids nowadays don't get to experience. They might have their version of Hilary Duff, but there's no Hilary Duff like the one we grew up with. The fact that this movie shows a girl who has to move her whole life, and she doesn't just throw a fit about it, she doesn't make it a big deal, although it is a big deal to her, she realizes that her parents' happiness is just as important as her own, if not more important. And that's something as a kid we really take for granted. I also liked viewing this completely different lifestyle. Growing up, I didn't live near a military base, I didn't go on a military base or anything like that. So seeing that this girl who's only in middle school, high school, and she is experiencing this is really eye-opening to the average kid. I also like how she took her own life into her own hands. She didn't just sit around and cry and mope about how she didn't like her school. She actually got involved and changed the way she viewed her school. Like I said before, this movie is so underrated because kids nowadays don't have the Hilary Duff we grew up with. This girl changed people's lives, and they might have somebody who they think is equivalent to Hilary Duff, but let's be real, nobody is going to be as good as Hilary Duff. On a scale of 1 to 10 Bearcat paws, I give this movie 9 Bearcat paws. This movie is something that everybody should watch. It shows the importance of family and fun.
That movie probably isn't very popular because it glorifies child soldiers. Well, we're gonna have to take a quick break, but don't worry, we have more juicy substance coming up. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Nerd Central. Did you think we were done with DC news? So did I, but we have more. Michael Keaton will be in CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths as Batman. Well, kind of. The actor is not actually going to be acting in the massive crossover event, but set photos have been released, with one being of a newspaper. The paper is very clearly a screenshot from Batman 1989 of just Michael Keaton hanging out. The interesting part is the headline announcing that Bruce Wayne will be marrying Selina Kyle, a storyline that was recently explored in the comics that had a really disappointing ending. I see this as just one more step closer to a Batman Beyond film, something that every Batman fan should desire. We have our first full trailer for Pixar's take on the fantasy genre Onward, a movie about Tom Holland and Chris Pratt as orcish brothers living their everyday lives. I'm starting to notice a trend here. What if toys acted like people? What if fish acted like people? What if cars acted like people? And now what if fantasy creatures acted like people? Did I just ruin Pixar for you? Probably just a little bit. I'm mostly sorry. If you're a classic horror or sci-fi fan, I highly recommend you get your butts to the theater this weekend. For its 40th anniversary, Alien is being re-released this weekend, and if that doesn't make you feel old enough, just remember that Sigourney Weaver recently turned 70. Speaking of feeling old, Breaking Bad ended 6 years ago, but Jesse's story was incomplete. Let's see what Cody thought of his conclusion over at Roundtable Reviews.
Say you want it! Say you want it! I'm Cody Nansen. Welcome to the show within the show, Roundtable Reviews. This week I'm reviewing El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, and with me some special assistance from William Linder. Oh wow, all the way from Channel 8.
Yeah, it was a far drive, but I made it here.
Oh, all right. So let's get into this movie. First of all, you need to watch Breaking Bad first.
Absolutely. This was a fantastic film if you are a Breaking Bad fan, especially of the series. It follows Jesse Pinkman around just a little after the series ended.
Yep.
And it's a phenomenal film. I would highly recommend it if you want to see what happens after the incidences with Walter White and Jesse Pinkman.
Or if you're curious of what happened while Jesse was hanging out with the Nazis and Todd. Todd's a very creepy person still. The wigs are a bit bad.
It's a little rough, but they actually go back and discuss a lot of the stuff that happened while he was basically imprisoned by those people, and it's pretty terrifying to say the least.
But here's the thing: you need to see Breaking Bad. None of this is going to make sense if you have not finished Breaking Bad at least. And if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Seriously.
Go. It's on Netflix.
Game of Thrones has ended. Breaking Bad's ended. You might as well watch one of the two. It's going to be Breaking Bad.
It's on Netflix. Go.
Absolutely.
Go watch it.
Right now.
Finish the episode first, then go watch it.
And then watch the next episode.
And then watch El Camino.
That's the order.
Yeah, but
I think this was a nice follow-up to what happens in the life of Jesse Pinkman. You get to see just a little bit from each character. There's some special appearances that happen throughout the film, and I just think that it was a good follow-up to the story, and it's definitely something that I would recommend to anybody who is a big fan of the series.
yeah, my biggest worry was that it was just gonna kind of feel tacked on and needless, but I'm happy to say that it stands the testament of being a Breaking Bad film.
Exactly, yes.
It's as high quality as the rest of the series and as Better Call Saul. And I couldn't be more satisfied. I guess I could be more satisfied because I'm probably giving this one an 8 out of 10. Just because there's a lot of time spent in flashback and I wanted more of just Jesse living his escapee life than things that already took place.
I would probably have to agree with the same points that you made. I would give this an 8 out of 10. I believe that they focused a lot on his imprisonment, which was very gritty and dark, and it's definitely something that needed to be addressed because we want to know what happened to Jesse during that time. It was a horrible period,
Oh, yeah.
but afterwards, I want to see like where he goes from there, and like, does he have money? Is he still on the run? What's the relationship like with his parents and his brother? And some of those questions I think needed to be answered, but I definitely agree. 8 out of 10 for this film. It's definitely something that you should check out if you are a fan of Breaking Bad.
All right, that's been all for this installment of Roundtable Review. We're gonna head over to Emma, and she's gonna do something with Harry Potter characters. I hope that is clean.
Go, Emma!
Hello, my name is Emma Bjork, and welcome back to Nerd Games. This week we are playing something I learned only 3 days ago. My guest and I are ranking Harry Potter characters on a tier list. To play this game, I had to invite a Harry Potter expert. So here with me I have
Raylan.
Harry Potter.
Love.
Do we love him though?
Because
Okay.
of the sassy Harry Potter, I would put him as love. Like, I would say
Okay.
neutral.
I was gonna say, I would have put him in neutral, but Sassy Harry.
Sassy Harry is
Sassy Harry's-
everything.
Sassy Harry is my heart. So next we have Ronald Weasley.
Love.
Okay,
He
I love him.
He is easily God material, but he's like, I'd still put him at love. I think he's
I
got,
was gonna say,
I think he's,
I feel like he has to be loved because he's got those moments where we're like,
without Ron, the books would have been bland, is
I
why
feel.
I consider
I feel.
God. But like in the movies, not so much. But I would say love. I think
solid love,
Yeah.
solid love. Hermione.
I consider her God just because she was a, okay. I would consider her God with the movies,
I
but
love
because
her.
she was such a twat in the books, we have to put her at love. She can't be any more than
I
love.
always loved Hermione. I related to Hermione, so thank you for saying that she was a twat.
I didn't like her in the
I
books.
was a twat.
You were not a twat.
You didn't know me back in the day.
Whatever. Continue.
Okay, next we have Neville Longbottom, and I swear to you up and down, this guy is a god.
Oh, I was gonna say God too.
Okay.
He's so God. He is better than all three of them combined. His
Of
moment,
course.
he stood up to Voldemort, and the most like Harry was dead, and he just comes
Yeah.
out there and he's like, "Let's do this." Like no one else would have done that, but like because of that ending, like the last part with him, and he just gets out there and it's like, "Bring it on, dude." He gets God material.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad we agree on that. Neville's a freaking god.
Yeah.
McGonagall.
God.
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 Easy.
There's no debate about that. It's God.
McGonagall's the best.
Yeah,
I
I
love her so much. When I am old, I want to be Professor McGonagall. Dobby.
God. And you can't change my mind. It's God.
He can't, no.
He adds so much to the story.
He's love.
I'm sorry, I'm vetoing it and I'm putting it up at God.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes,
No.
no, he's, shh, I'm the guest. I get veto. He's God and we're leaving it there.
Hagrid.
God.
Hagrid
He brought Harry to Pivot Drive and then he brought him out of Pivot Drive.
Pivot?
What is
Privet.
Privet Drive.
The moment that makes Hagrid God to me is the moment that he's carrying dead Harry's body
Yeah.
back. Like that would have been
That's God material.
impossible to do. Like, cause he was the father figure that Harry had that lived. Ray, thank you so much for helping me in creating this beautiful list that we have. It's been so much fun arguing with you.
Oh yeah.
Join me next week for a new nerd game. How dare you not put Dobby at God tier? Ugh. Ugh. That is all the time we have for today, but stick around because we have a good old blood battle, and when I say blood, I mean Emma's family is competing on Showdown. So, stay tuned. Nice. Yeah.
Did you wear that because you knew you had to do the hand sign?
Because I was gonna wear a Deadpool shirt, and then I was like, no, it's
Hello and welcome to Nerd Showdown, the part of Nerd Central where we battle it out on a particular topic that we have no business debating. Because our cast and crew member was kind enough to bring us some volunteers this week, we will be deciding who the best Marvel sidekick is. With me today, I have Emma's mother, Tracy. Tracy, what sidekick have you chosen?
I've chosen Shuri.
And in the other seat, we have Emma's sister, Lindsay. Lindsay, who is your sidekick?
I chose Pepper Potts.
All right, let's showdown.
She made Black Panther's costume and created a really cool car. She has a great sense of humor, which I really appreciate, so she can kind of laugh things off. She's a princess, but she's still very strong and very independent, very, very supportive. She's very family oriented and just has no fear. That's, yeah, pretty much it, I suppose.
Solid argument, solid argument. Lindsay, why do you think that your chosen sidekick, Pepper Potts, is better?
Well, where do I start? Pepper is very witty. In her first appearance, she totally drags that reporter through the mud. So savage. But she's also very patient. I mean, she has to deal with Tony Stark, so obviously she has a lot of patience. She's very loyal and trustworthy. When Tony thinks he's gonna die, he's willing to leave the company in her hands because he trusted her to have his best interest even when he wasn't around. She also is very smart. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but she originally got her job at Stark Industries by catching an accounting error. So maybe a different kind of smart than Shuri, but still very bright. I would say the most impressive point towards Pepper is the amount of strength and courage that she has, because the amount of strength that it took for her to hold her dying husband in her arms, the man that she's loved since the beginning, who she watched build the Avengers, who she's watched run into danger time and time again, the man who she's saved countless times, to be able to hold him and let him die in peace without any regrets by telling him that they would be okay, that's an amount of bravery that is unmatched by any other character in the MCU.
All right. Tracy, why do you think that Pepper does not live up to that glowing recommendation from Lindsay?
Well, Pepper does not like strawberries.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. How can you not like strawberries? I mean, she threw them away. No, she's
allergic.
I know. She has to count on Iron Man to do things for her and to invent things for her. She can't invent them herself. Though she's very bright and very intelligent, you know, that's still kind of, to me, not as good as Shuri. She's easily annoyed by Tony, but then again, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't be? I don't feel like she laughs things off quite as well as Shuri does, but I could be wrong. She does run the business beautifully, but doesn't really help. Oh, that's back to creating things again. Sorry about that. We'll just keep mentioning that over and over again because that seems to be my best point.
All right. Lindsay, what do you have against Shuri?
Well, Shuri does not have very much of a legacy in the MCU yet. She's only been in 2 movies. She also doesn't have nearly as much success defeating very main villains in the film, which Pepper has a 10% kill rate, by the way.
I tired mine.
She's not as personable. She doesn't always take people's concerns into consideration. She laughs off a lot of traditions, and that actually causes a lot of unrest amongst the Wakandans. So.
All right, Tracy, you got 1 minute. Wrap all of this up. What are your final comments on Shuri versus Pepper Potts?
Well, Pepper is really awesome, and I will have to agree with you on that. However, I still think Shuri is even better, mainly because she is a genius. She is creative, and I think there is more of her to come. So I'm going to take it with that. That's the best I can do for you.
All right, Lindsay, final comments. What do you got?
Pepper has been there since the beginning, but the only argument that I will accept for her not being the best Marvel sidekick is because you think she's a hero in her own right.
Ooh. Wow. Okay, well, we had really strong arguments this week. This was a good time, but I think I'm gonna have to give it to Lindsay on that one because that was a solid closer.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this week. You can watch all of our previous episodes on the KNWT YouTube page. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow Nerd Central on Twitter at nerd_central_TV. And you can catch Nerdmageddon up next. We'll see you next week on an all-new Nerd Central.
Oh, oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. I get it. Joaquin Phoenix.